Hi everybody, welcome back to that Eurovision site. As you can see, we're now in Liverpool, and these guys will have the honor of being our first interview in person in the actual contest. I'm with the Busker. How are you all doing?
I can see it already. Ooh. I just got the H on. It's
Wait,
How are you all doing?
amazing.
We're very good. We're very good. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm talking to you like you've had your rehearsal yesterday. I just wanted to firstly ask you, how did it feel to step on the stage?
Whoa.
There's already-
Lots of emotions. I mean, as soon as we got on stage, there were the stage managers. Everyone was showing us, like, listen, okay, you have to pass from here. These people are going to take care of this and that. We felt like, okay, this is actually getting real, you know. We saw the props for the first time, because before we were only seeing them on Sean's iPad when he was designing them, and then we saw them on screen. Then we actually saw them live.
person.
Yes, in
As
person.
John said, it was like you can't step here. If you step here, you die. If you step here, you burn off your foot. If you step here, you're just being impaired, man.
It's very complex. I'm
So
sorry.
it was a lot of health and safety. Yeah, they take it very seriously. Obviously,
Yeah.
they have to. But we were bombarded with like do's and don'ts.
Oh no, that's the UK health safety law for you. It's
No,
like
for sure.
it's just everywhere.
I
You're just
love
like,
it. I love the seriousness of it, and
Yeah.
The funny thing is, they advised us, ideally, guys, don't run on stage. And
we immediately said we're gonna have to do that, man.
we have to go from one.
the minute you tell something to don't do something, they'll do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like I think rocking up on stage, I didn't manage to swallow it immediately. It's like to the fact I was there, I was just focused on kind of trying to see what's going to happen. I think at a point then I just went onto the platform and I still was blinded by it. But then after the first run, I just took a glimpse of all the empty seats and I was like, okay, these are going to be filled at a point.
Myself, when we went on stage, I was a bit worried. I had two saxophones. So your viewers might know why we have two saxophones, but we're not going to divulge that. They can see it for themselves. Having the two saxophones, I had to see where we're going to put one of them, you know,
And hide it.
and hide it, you know, not
Yeah.
make sure it doesn't show in the shots. So that was my concern from like 5 a.m. in the morning when I woke up. So yeah, but it worked out. So
Yeah.
super.
How much do you think of an upgrade it was from MASC to Liverpool? Is that like really huge? Like, because obviously like it's the actual thing now. It's like Malta had like a few 100,000 watching this, but like this time you have like up to 180 million people. No pressure.
So it's basically, you start off as a student, you have this broken down car. All of a sudden, someone spots the talent and you're given the first class treatment. All of a sudden, you're sporting a sports car, so we don't mention any plugs, yeah?
Yeah.
All of a sudden, you're riding the high life. So I think that's what it is. We made up, facelifts and all those pretty things. I think it's a bit bougie compared to what Malta's selection had. But definitely, what hasn't changed is that we were hands-on throughout, as John referred to Sean's architectural design with it.
Yeah.
It was all of our input and creative control.
So basically, everyone had a bit of something to do
Yeah,
with that.
and we got that done on a 5-day free trial. So awesome,
Yeah.
saving money.
Okay, one thing I wanted to ask, because I'm very curious, like I don't know if it's been asked to you, because obviously you have cutouts of previous Eurovision representatives, and obviously there's a lot of representatives in Malta. Who decided as to which one goes in the stage?
That's a good question.
That's a good question.
How do we reply to this?
Because obviously there's a second placer, which is Ida. There's a junior Eurovision winner, which is Destiny, but the rest.
But Destiny also represented Malta. So
Yeah.
now basically I think it was a matter of trying to hand select who's been most iconic and followed throughout Eurovision and after their journey and their representation. Definitely our creative director had a lot of input in this, especially since he worked with a lot of them and he kind of had good relations with them, that he could easily get their permission as compared to having to go through a lot of channels, especially since we were limited with time with the proposal that we needed to set. Because even though the idea was meant to stay from day one, we had limited time from when we got the go-ahead till the point where we had to propose it. But obviously, everyone who's on stage with us, we've had interactions with. I mean, Sean can tell you how many times he played with Ira Losko. I have a personal relationship with Destiny as well, because we were in X Factor 2 together as well. Chiara is also iconic because she represented Malta 3 times. Then there's Fabrizio Faniello, he represented Malta twice. There's Claudia Faniello, who's Fabrizio's sister, who made it. Actually, I mean, they're all basically iconic. And there's Glenn Vella, who was part of MESC as well this year. He was the host. So I think when we came to the selection of them, we went with who also contributed to us personally.
And even Fabrizio was in Malta Eurovision Song Contest this year. He was participating. So again, we built connection with him whilst we were there, and we decided to sort of like pay tribute to him by involving him in our part.
It goes without saying, we could have had a 3 times the size of the stage and still filled it with cutouts, because there are so many Maltese artists we respect and love, and we know personally as well, which are not on that stage, which could have been on that stage, you know.
But it was hard for us.
We only had that much space to fit them in, so we had to like do the best with that space that we had, you know. So
So basically, iconic Eurovision legends. Is that what it was?
But respect to all the representatives from Malta who have represented Malta. Like, respect and love to you all. Thank you.
Okay, and so what has been your reaction to the fans' reaction? Because they saw the little preview clip on TikTok, and they also saw the picture, and were like, "Oh wow!" It's like, we've been sleeping on this a little bit. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Time to wake up.
Time to wake up. I think the biggest take home from this is that Malta's the best comments were Malta's really trying their best, and they're bringing everything to make it to the final. That's how it's always been our mantra. We're very hardworking. We have a lot of responsibility to give back to Maltese Eurovision fans. They gave us this opportunity, and we need to make sure to represent them with the most. With our best foot forward, you know. But then again, contests aside, we just really want to give the best show possible. Really want to make sure that, not contests as like competition aside, I think that's what I want to refer, is that the fact we're doing our best in essence, that we want to make sure that we give the best show possible, and just at least as much as possible prove our stay, you know.
That's well put. Thank you. Well done.
Okay, now one of my final questions to you guys is, obviously, you know, as you grown to hone as an artist together, obviously you had your own solo things before the Busker came about. I was saying, what's the one thing that you've learned in your, you know, journey to the Eurovision that you'll take with you? It's like, where do you think like you've learned something valuable that you're kind of using now in Liverpool? So kind of like, Dave, you participated in X Factor, and obviously that's kind of like got like a similar vibe on how things work. So like, what's the one thing that you learned in each experience that you think
I think one thing I can mention is the importance of social media, and taking care of social media and your content, to make sure to share the journey as well as possible and as clearly as possible with your followers and your fans, because we didn't have that level of fans in the past, you know. These things came through the Eurovision, you know, as in the amounts of fans that we are experiencing now. It's just taking care of those people, and apart from that, something else which I have learned is taking care of the bond. You know, the bond between us three. It's something very important to the band and to what we do, and by taking care of that, we can ensure that we can continue creating music, evolving, changing, and continue to contribute to our own legacy as a band, you know.
So nothing comes easy, for sure, and there's no such thing as coincidence. I believe everything has to be thought out. Even in our case, everything that we did, if it's for the song, if it's for the video, if it's for the staging, for the live performance, everything was thought out. So we wanted to contribute. So if there's the cutouts, they have to be there for a purpose.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that we learned. That and unfortunately, if you have to be constantly working, you show determination, and the fact that the three of us, we share the same ambition, that we are all goal-oriented people, I think that helped a lot throughout this process to make it much more easier for us. It's easy for you to get to your mental health. As you know, in the music industry, it's not the easiest industry in the world. There's a lot of pressure on artists that you have to be constantly perfect, you have to deliver your best, and if you are not mentally prepared for it, it might affect you badly. And that's something that personally I learned a lot throughout this Eurovision experience. That it's important that you are surrounded by people that are there to support you, that are there to show you and mentor you. And for me personally, I'm very grateful for them, for my bandmates, for my best friends, for the public broadcaster, for my wife, their partners, fiancé and girlfriend. So yes, the people that are there for you, you have to be surrounded by non-toxic people, basically.
How about you, Dave?
Like you mentioned before, X Factor 2, I think, prepared me heavily for the Eurovision experience. Which to a point, I think I was losing it in the band members' eyes, because at a point I was kind of fixated about social media. I was fixated about how we're gonna look and how well practiced we need to be. Just because X Factor showed me that the biggest impact you can make is by being consistent, and being consistent in how you look, and your attitude towards the project, and even in your sound and style. At the moment, what we're campaigning is our song. And even though we have a lot of other songs that we want to push forward, and we're eager to share, especially at the fact that at the moment we have such big limelight on us. At the moment, it's all about the song, and it's about our country, and it's about Eurovision. There's no point, and there's no benefit in differing from that. Art, as Jean said, is such a hard thing it's such a hard industry, and especially the music career, because especially people are looking at personalities and not just musicians. It's not just about music, it's about what we represent. And for us, our core values have always been music, unity, and as much as possible be showing how three guys from a very small island, which tends to not get enough attention, is home to so much talent and so much drive, that we ready to beat the narrative of the bloodbath semi-final one and the death spot, which might be just all, what is the word, hoax? Hullabaloo, myth, you know.
You're gonna try and prove them wrong.
Not just them wrong, it's proving us wrong and believing in ourselves. If we're not managing to believe in ourselves, no one will. And at the end of the day, if we don't make it through with some unfortunate story or whatever, the biggest take home is that we all believed in ourselves to achieve what we already did, and believe in ourselves to put ourselves forward and guarantee our best performance to date.
And thank you for the push you gave us in the beginning, where we thought you were psychotic. You were right, and without that push, we probably wouldn't be in this situation.
It's
so
not about
that's
right.
a team. That's a team.
It is what it is, because I was losing it. Really. I was like, guys, believe me, this is important, because I felt like we needed to push so much for us to get attention, because it was so easy for us to be lost within the hay. It's just a matter of like, again, I believe in us so much, and I believe that our hard work has so much material, so much more to get materialized. Is that the biggest disappointment is that we don't take the opportunity in front of us.
And now you're here.
And now we're here.
All right, then. One of the final things I wanted to ask you: what should the fans expect when they go see you guys next week?
One word each.
One word each.
Energy. Sorry, man. Sorry.
You're gonna have to top that.
Yeah.
Sorry. I can change my word if you want.
No. Take energy. Can you go on, Dave? Because I'm still
In one word, what should they expect next week?
Please don't take my word.
Spectacle.
Oh,
I
Dave.
love to the easy one.
This one? No, I don't know.
It's calm, no.
I would go with passion, because we're very passionate people. So I think we gave a lot of energy, a lot of love to our project, and
Yeah.
to this whole thing. So what you're going to see is on stage next week is three guys very passionate about music, about the arts in general, and they're giving their 100% to deliver the best performance today.
So, in a nutshell, an energetic, passionate spectacle, guys. Let's do it.
All right then. Well, thank you very much for your time. But before we go, is there anything you want to say to the fans who are either coming up or just like watching you guys compete next week?
Yeah, first and foremost, make sure to like and follow and subscribe to this channel and everything. Tim has been such a dear with us since we met in Warsaw. He's been following, making sure that we feel at home. So we just smile every time he's around. Thank you for following our journey. Thank you for making it through to this interview.
There's the badge.
There's the badge. Ding, ding. Insert badge here, Tim. Right? Yeah.
That's up to you, brother. Post.
But thanks a lot. We really appreciate that we're having this conversation again, but this time in Liverpool. Thank you for being here.
All right then. See you guys soon. And wish you the best of luck on semi-final one.
Thank you.
Thank you.